Oh my goodness gracious. Lord, I thank you. Thank you. Y'all, I'm serious. We cannot take for granted what God has done. We just can't take it for granted. You know, there was a time in my life where I really took a lot of things for granted in God. I just figured, you know, I go to church all the time. That counts. It's good. I'm fine. I'm straight. I have no problem with the Lord. It doesn't really require anything of me other than to just be good and do the right thing. But I realized that God is calling for more. More of us. He wants to be more in us. He wants us to see him and recognize him for who he is. How many of y'all ever walk the streets downtown? I know some of y'all live in the suburbs and you got your big, you know, house and, you know, you might not come to the city sometime, but if you're ever in the city or sometime you might come across someone that's just kind of walking the streets seemingly out of their mind, might be drunk, a little slightly inebriated, as they like to say. A lot of times if you talk, you'll hear that person say, you know, I know the Lord. And they start preaching on the street drunk, but preaching about the Lord. How many of y'all ever experienced that before? You ever ask yourself, how is it? How did that person get from the place where they, quote unquote, knew the Lord, and now they seem to be destitute? They seem like they've lost it all. You know, it seemed like they have no hope and just kind of living in that moment, not really knowing what's going to happen from one moment to the next. You have to ask yourself, what contributed to that situation? Well, like I was saying, and how we even started this concert by saying Jesus is calling. When someone calls you, you have a choice to make. You can either say yes, and you give them your attention, or you can just keep on doing what you're doing. And the next song that I'm going to share with you comes from Proverbs. It says, wisdom calls aloud in the streets. I mean, I guess it calls aloud in the homes and other places too, but it says it calls aloud in the streets. And her voice lifts and she says, come on, turn into me. All who are gone astray off the beaten path, you know, anybody that's living in foolishness, come be wise. Come, if you're in danger, you're in a danger zone, kind of, you know, out there doing your own thing, come into the ark of safety and dwell with me, because wisdom gives prosperity. Wisdom gives a lot of blessings. And a lot, I mean, just safety and abundant life and all of that comes with living a wise life. And this song is just like a cry. It's a cry of God's heart to say, listen, my child. And he's speaking tenderly to us as children, hoping that we'll turn so that we don't lose our minds in rejecting God, so that we don't drift and try to live this life, this thing we call life on our own, but that we're drawn to him.